Hey, crypto traders. Hope you guys had a great week. Welcome to this week's crypto update. Thanks for visiting. If you saw last week, you know that I was looking for that potential top 13,900 to bring on a correction that I'm calling Wave 2. We still haven't seen the level that I'd want to reach to really confirm it's a Wave 2, and that would be below 7,800. But we certainly have been correcting along the last week. As you know, as you may have seen, and I've noticed, many folks on Twitter, YouTube, talking about crypto are thinking about this correction as being very shallow. I find that really interesting. Again, I'm going to say to you, hey, we got to see a lot more of price action to understand whether we're going to have a bottom very quickly or see this correction last much longer. But I at least am noting sentiment that I'm finding in social media that could portend a much longer correction, at least qualitatively. But price action is always king, if you will. So without further ado, let's look at price action real quick. Here's the way I'm mapping out the current correction. If you've seen my last updates, I see the potential again that this reaches as deep as 4,300. We have a long way to go before that really confirms, but I'm at least keeping my eye on this. And I don't know anybody yet who's talking about that level. And I'm not saying it's definite either, but at least that's interesting. Right now, we'll talk a little bit closer about the action we have here. I'm tracking this complex B wave, and I see the potential of a short setup, at least if we hold below 11,900, that can potentially bring us into somewhere between 9,000, but even as deep as 7,800. And 7,800 is the 3A2 retrace of the entire move off the December low. So that's actually the first point I would expect a wave 2 to bottom. And we'll see what happens when we get there. In terms of time, we really haven't passed any level of time. Our lower degree wave 2 was 2 months. That was December to February. And now a higher degree I would normally expect, doesn't always have to be, a little bit longer in time, certainly usually much deeper in price. So to me, this has potential of just having started. Let's look closer in at tax. One of my subscribers pointed out that we broke through an RSI channel. It's often that we have degree changes when RSI channels break. That was a good note there. It's not always the case. Depends on what time frame you're looking at. But MACD continues to be drifting lower and with no sign of a turn. Brestert's stochastic is dropping into the bottom area, and we'll see what it brings. Either it brings typically a bottom or just more sideways. So we'll have to see what that brings. I've also noted this 45 level on the RSI, and we'll see if that breaks. That definitely can bring some sort of landslide. Again, I've said that if we can get price, we get RSI down into the 30 level, we really have a great opportunity to buy in this bull market, and we'll see what we get. But at least for right now, just a bit of sideways action. Now, when I dive in on a closer time frame, I have potential of 5 waves down out of that B wave top I noted, and we have 3 up. We have stochastic in overbought, and we have MACD quite weak. So actually, I see this as a short setup if you're so inclined. Now, I want to emphasize this is a bull market, and going net short right now can be dangerous unless you're doing it for some sort of hedge. I do active hedging and scalping around my core position just to manage my long side. I'm not taking this very aggressively, but I see this potential. Now, if we're over 11.9, I would consider this invalid, or at least on fumes, and has potential to head up to 13,000 at least. Not necessarily break out, but at least push against any short position here. All right, so that's what I'm looking at in the short term. That should play out in the next day or so. Hopefully I load this video up, and some of you that are more inclined may take that, but keep a tight stop because we're 11.5 now, and I have a $400 stop on that, and that means I don't want to get over positioned. That's a bit of a broad stop for a scalp trade, but it's certainly good for at least hedging a long position. All right. So that's where I'm at on Bitcoin. And then the question I had was, what chart do I want to show? What non-Bitcoin chart do I want to show this week? And what I thought would be fun is to review Link, Link. It's been moving really aggressively. I have listened to many YouTube channels, and people have commented on it and requested that of YouTubers, and I thought I would comment here. Now let's go back to the history of this chart. Note that I ignore a lot of the chatter that we get in the beginning of a new coin hitting exchanges. They just don't play well for forecasting the future, what potential. And so I'm ignoring that. And we had an all-time low here at, let's see, it looks like it was around 12 cents. And I'm basing all of my count off that level. And the first move was 3 waves. And what that means is that the future prospects of this become a bit nebulous. That means also that I have to count this as a WXY or ABC. I like the WXY here with a large A wave here, B wave, and C off this potential, X or wave 2 in my bullish count. That makes it tough. That we will not see an impulse on this one unless it, at least I don't see it that way, unless we complete this leading diagonal, which is in red. And as of right now, we're in a correction. When I look at the smaller time frame, it looks like we have the potential of a larger correction. We'll see, or one more minor extension before a larger correction. Right now, support, I have the line of the sand is $1.25 with an ideal hit at $1.69. Anywhere between $2.57 and $1.69 is quite typical. If this is going to be a larger wave 4 correction that I've got mapped out. I'm not convinced of it yet. I want to see 257 break and then see $1.69 come next in this correction. As long as that holds, I see actually an ideal hit at 11.46, potential that we're closer to $8 in the next rally. So there could be a pretty good trade between $1.69 and the $8 region, potential of $11 region. Now the red is calling out a potential leading diagonal, which a lot of the structure suggests. However, it's pretty tough. It's often tough to see the leading diagonal until after we've seen it behave in the potential wave 4. The wave 4 on this diagonal could come down in this channel. Now the channel is between the 1 and the 3 on the top, and then parallel to the pin to the wave 2, and so that's how I map out my channels when I'm tracking a diagonal. And this potential wave 4 could go quite low back into the dollar region. $1.25 is actually about where it hits, so it could have sort of a double bottom, or look like a double bottom around that $1.25 region. So we'll see how that goes. And it really, again, right now I see further extensions as long as we hold support. And then we'll have to see what kind of correction it gets after that. It doesn't have to get that low, but that would be a good indication, at least, that we have a leading diagonal in this. And then eventually, after wave 5, we would see deeper correction. So that's what I'm tracking, at least. I'm not actually personally trading this one. It's not one that I have chosen to trade, but for you guys that have gotten in real early, congratulations. Just now it's time to we're in that cautious zone at least, but there's certainly some more gas in the tank. All right, guys, that's what I have this week. Again, correction is the bottom line right now. No, I have no setup for breakout, but we'll be watching for it. Also, if you're commenting on YouTube, I'm going to be gone on vacation for a few days, so I won't respond to comments at least for a few days. So comment away. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And then again, if you're interested in joining our group, free trials, I'll put the link again in the commentary, and free trials are without credit cards, and in fact, you can leave without any sort of marketing calls or anything. So if it's for you, check it out. All right, guys, have a good week. Thanks. Bye.